1% better every day!
Hey, people, what's going on? It's your boy Shondo Blaze. You know who you at. This is the 1% Better Everyday podcast.
Every
you
day.
could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. I'm here with my boy.
Melly Mel, what's going on? Process the Mail. Once again, new location, new environment. But again, we got a guest. We got a guest on the show today.
A special guest.
Special guest.
Give him his respect, put some respect
Special
on
guest.
him. Yeah.
Absolutely. Man.
This your connect. So go ahead and this your connect. So
It's my
go ahead and
connect. It's my
introduce your
connect.
guy.
You know, obviously when you out and about and you making contacts and you making connections, you try to meet really good people. A few weeks ago, I met this gentleman. He was at a pop-up and he was telling me a little bit more about cigars. And Shondo and I, we was having a conversation and just feel like we didn't know much about cigars other than, you know,
Basic shit.
I think the ash should
Right.
stay on a cigar long.
That was it.
But, you know, as you start to climb up social ladders and
course.
you in different, around different individuals, you feel like you want to at least be educated, talk, kind of know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? Now that, you know, last episode we talked about the beard for people that's, you know, trying to get a healthy beard. A lot of people are growing beard. Look, tell us about that. Educate us about that.
Right.
Now we have another guest on the show, Rich, who is the CEO of Stixx and Stonez, is going to educate us all about cigars, the culture of cigars, what makes a good cigar, what to look for. So I'm excited because we're actually going to get super educated on the whole cigar industry. But, you know, I can try to do my best to explain about your company and everything that you do. But please, Rich, introduce yourself to the people. I know you are the CEO of Stixx and Stonez, but please introduce yourself.
Well, just to start off, I am Rich Papillion. I'm actually the owner of Stixx and Stonez. I'm also the founder of Houston Cigar Week, May 12th through the 16th.
Okay.
But another part, it's so funny being on somebody else's podcast. You know, I have my own radio show, 95.3 Jams.
Okay.
Stixx and Stonez, Cigars and Lifestyle Sessions. Stixx and Stonez is so many different layers.
Yeah.
You have the society, which is a rather different folks that's entrepreneurs and professional folks that are part of it. You got the promotion side, which I'll be busy all day because I'll be at Chapman with Manny Fresh and the crew.
Yeah.
Then tonight I'll be back at State of Mind. And then tomorrow I'll be at Chapman again tomorrow for brunch session. Then you got the other part, the Stixx and Stonez Cigars. This is my baby. I actually did this all by myself. Nobody from the outside actually helped with the financing. I've had investors come to me and want to be part of it. I said, no, not at this time. I want to really get it off the ground and really get it going, and it's really grown dramatically so fast. It has allowed so many different avenues for Stixx and Stonez as a brand to actually grow outside of the state of Texas.
Yeah.
But pretty much throughout the United States and some parts of outside the United States. So,
I'm not trying to cut you off,
Yeah.
because whenever people drop those jewels, we like for people to be able to slow down and pick them up.
yes.
Now, as an entrepreneur myself, Melly Mel, entrepreneurship and all that type of stuff, you just said that, did you have any prior knowledge of cigars before you really started
I've been
this?
smoking cigars since I was 25.
Been smoking
Nice.
since you were 25?
25, but I started off smoking at 17.
Okay.
Playing baseball up north at Central Michigan.
Okay.
First cigar, got a chance to pick up from a selection of cigars from my roommate's dad. First cigar was Opus X. I
Okay.
tore it up. I choked pretty much throughout the process of
Right,
smoking it.
right.
I had some good yak. I was introduced to Basil Hayden since I was 17 years old.
Okay.
Which is a great thing. Opus X, to say, most people like, you started at the top. I say, not really, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how to smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
Right.
So, from that avenue, I mean, getting into a brand and getting into cigars, starting at a young age, and pretty much sitting, you're the only young black guy in the room, you're sitting with a bunch of old white guys.
Yeah.
It gave me a chance to actually gain knowledge, and a lot of these guys actually opened up to me and realized that I want to learn. And working in the oil and gas industry is a big part of what we do in the oil and gas industry, cigars and whiskey.
Man, that's a good point.
Now, did you hear what he just said? Now, we always talk about being comfortable in the uncomfortable situations, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were in a room who you could have been just a neighborhood kid.
That's
and
right.
if you're a neighborhood kid, you're only comfortable being around neighborhood type shit.
Yeah.
But it was like, to be able to get that knowledge, you had to go somewhere that for other people may have been uncomfortable. I don't want to be around them white boy. I don't want to be. But the knowledge can be any and everywhere. And the fact that you went there and were cool sitting there so that you could get the knowledge, that's what I think is dope. So as you talk, I don't want to cut you off, but I just I like stopping it. Because that's if I'm looking at it, that's like I would want like the, what do they call it, the little dividers in the binder? Yeah. It's like go to this. Oh yeah, he's talking about, because everybody's got the same thing. Being comfortable, being in uncomfortable situations, because you gotta be. You didn't know how to create a cigar. You may have liked cigars.
I knew. Look, just to be frank, making a cigar is not easy. Yeah. Making a great cigar is even harder. A lot of times it takes a lot of people to be around you. Most of my test, I would call my test clients, they were guys that have been smoking cigars for 30, 40 years. Wow. So it's not something I made based on what I like. I based it off of a variety of different people actually smoking it and putting different cigars in place for everybody to like. Wow.
That's your guy.
That's a gem right there.
Yeah.
So
your guy said that the other day.
He did. Drew said that. So obviously, when you're entrepreneurs, there's always a path.
Right.
And you guys are on the same path. You're speaking the same language in two different industries. Yeah. So you started your cigar line.
Me and Drew never had a conversation.
Never had a conversation?
No, we never had a conversation about this. We just, all he told me that, hey, I met with the guys, that's it. Yeah. We didn't talk about nothing else.
The funny thing is that it's all the same. I don't care who you see. It's all the same. You just, it's like what we always talk about with the formula or the system. Take this out, plug this in. Take this product out, plug this product in. The path to get there is usually still the same. Whether a person had knowledge or didn't have knowledge of it, you had to start creating it. You had to get people that did have a little knowledge of it to test it out. Now this is shit. You need to try to do this and do that. And it couldn't be based on only your personal feeling of it.
I think a lot of people make mistakes when they try to make a product based off of what they like.
Right. Correct.
So the one cigar, what I did before I even got to the point of making a cigar for everybody else, the first cigar I put together, I made it for what I like. I wanted it super spicy. I like a super spicy cigar. I like a strong cigar. Okay. But the problem is that a strong cigar is only going to reach a certain level of clientele.
Right.
Yep. So you have to make a full body that actually can be utilized or smoked by a woman, somebody that's been smoking for many years, and somebody that's beginning. A lot of times, that is your target. Yeah. People don't realize this. People that have been smoking for a long time, they're gonna smoke what they want to like. They're gonna smoke regardless. Yeah. I'm sorry. If you smoke Patron, then you're gonna smoke Patron. Don't matter how many times I tell you, unless you just come in here and say, I'm gonna try this boutique. I like it. It has a good transition between the cigar from the front of the cigar to the midpoint. Yeah. Then but new beginners are the best ones because they don't really have a palate. Exactly. Their palate actually starts with your brand and other new brands that they have actually taken on.
To let them know what they do and don't like, because you don't know what to like and not to like.
And I don't like. So for me, I would say I'm a new palate. If I have a cigar, I'll probably have a cigar if I'm like with friends. I'm on a guy's trip, like we vibing out. Let me have a cigar.
Casual cigar.
Casual cigar. So I'm probably 4 to 5 cigars a year, maybe. And again, I still am a beginner. I couldn't tell you much about a cigar. Yeah. But I see you here. You already kind of knee deep in one. Yeah. I want to dig in, but
that's
I'm hoping that you can like.
But I don't want you to choke on.
No. What we want to do is ask you the questions first.
Absolutely.
Because what we did is when we were talking to my guy with the beard company, Drew. Yes. Is if we don't know shit, walking in a spot like this. By the way, this spot right here.
Stokey's Houston.
Say, man, nice. You did.
Nice.
So you walk in a spot like this. You don't know shit about cigars. You don't know nothing really about nothing. What's the first thing you look for a cigar? Just say I probably smoke. Just say 15 a year, maybe. So maybe 1.5 a month, if you could put a number on it. Well, what do you look for first?
The first thing you look for in a cigar, you look at the foundation.
Okay. What's the foundation?
The foundation is your wrapper. Okay. So if you look at your wrapper, what you're looking for and what you're trying to prevent is anything that actually could have like bulkiness to it, because it might have stems and stuff like that in it, which we call veins in the cigar. Okay. You always look at the crown of the cigar where you're actually going to cut your cigar. So most times you're going to have a round edge. This is a torpedo, so you're going to have a pointed edge. So you want to see exactly If it's unraveling already, you always want to look at the quality of the leaf as it connects throughout the cigar, the shaft of the cigar. So, and then also you want to look at this part too, and you can actually see how togetherness the filler is.
Okay.
A lot of time people, when they pick a cigar, most people pick a cigar based on design, based on the label.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times it could have the best label and could be the shittiest cigar ever.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people tend to not really know what to pick, especially when they're new to it. So it's good to have somebody actually around that can actually teach you, or you try to learn from folks that actually know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So would you say, just like with anything, if you want to sell, presentation is going to be the first thing that catches somebody when it comes down to like the label.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Because if I don't know anything,
if you're gonna sell based on a cigar based on label, it's a good thing.
because this is what catches the labels.
So
what catches
when
the
I
new
first
person.
started off with Stixx on, I just had a white basic label that had Stixx and Stonez logo on it, and the first thing people said, your cigar is too good for that label. That means at some point in time you have to do an adjustment and actually change the label. But I was told by the folks that actually got me into the cigar game, don't put a lot of money in your label when you first come out. You're going to waste a lot of money because you got a shitty cigar. It's going to sit on there with a pretty label.
Yeah.
So make sure that your cigar actually is your top priority. That label comes second.
Perfect. Now, what about? Some people smell the cigar. Or is anyone really getting anything when they smell a cigar?
Yeah, you can actually
The flavor?
smell the flavor or the aroma of the cigar.
Okay.
Just you can see if you know tobacco, which a lot of people don't know tobacco.
No, you just smell it to look cool.
Most people
I
have
don't
never
know
been
what
to
they
Nicaragua,
I'm
they've
getting the
never
smell, I
been
don't
to
know what the
Dominican,
fuck.
they've never been to Colombia. Most people don't realize there are Colombian tobacco that people never know is that Habana has Colombian tobacco in it.
Okay.
Most people know Colombia, of course, for the white powder.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Colombia actually has some good tobacco.
So would that put you in the premium, the Cadillac, the Rolls Royce of cigars when it comes to
I've had
Colombian
people that
leaf?
smoke Davidoff. Davidoff is one of our biggest sponsors for Houston Cigar Week.
Okay.
When it comes to Davidoff smokers smoking my cigar, they were very satisfied with, to the point where they pretty much was buying as much as they bought Davidoff.
Okay.
So when and I'm talking about people that didn't know.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part, is when you get somebody that you don't know to really give you a full opinion of your brand.
Okay.
So I like that, because for me, with the different stuff that I do, I seek that out. I want to get all the feedback possible because I feel like feedback is what drives you to the next thing to be able to improve, take away, add to. So when you were creating your stuff, was it important to you to get your stuff in front of as many people that smoked and didn't smoke as possible?
I had a selective crew pretty much out of Stokies.
Okay, so you had
these guys on this side. I've been a private member at Stokies about 7 years now.
Okay.
So most of these guys has been there since the beginning.
Okay.
So when you look at guys like that, that's been around smoking 30 years to 40 years, they're gonna know way more about cigars than me. So what I did, I would actually have them try. Didn't tell them it was my brand.
Yeah.
I didn't have a label on it. I just wanted to. I'd say, look, got some
feedback.
cigars.
It's the blind
natural
test.
feedback.
Blind taste. Yeah.
Natural, because I tell people all the time. People always say, well, I like Open Sex, I like God of Fire, I like Davidoff.
Right.
Take the labels off, and you tell me which one is which.
Right.
If you can tell me which one is which, then you are a cigar enthusiast.
Right.
Most folks are not. People that's been smoking a lot of times under 5 years don't know a lot about cigars. Not saying they can't learn.
But at that
point, they just haven't smoked enough cigars.
Right. And that's interesting, because it gets into like anything brand name. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you really buying? And so for you, you got it in front of a closed circuit group of guys that knew what the fuck was going on, and they were able to give you the feedback versus trying to get it to 1,000 people that probably weren't gonna know much about what they were talking about anyway.
Very true.
Right. So that makes sense, especially with this type of product, because this is I don't know what you like, not a connoisseur product. Like, this isn't.
No, connoisseur.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
Most people that smoke cigars are constant.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Look how early it is. What's the first thing I did when we got
lit up?
Lit up.
Yeah.
I mean, had some Basil Hayden.
I was paying attention.
Come on, I'm trying to get in.
If my pants weren't so tight, I'd throw my leg over like my man. Because I'm definitely gonna be like this, though.
Yeah. You feel like you got to start talking business.
Yeah.
So I do want to light a cigar. Let me ask you a quick question. Now, I see you about to cut the cigar for us.
Yeah.
Is there a particular way to cut, or an accurate way
on this
to cut a
particular
cigar?
cutter, you have what's a straight cut, and then you have a V cut. But for a torpedo, in my case, I like to use a V cut because it actually gives a nice, clean cut and dip into the torpedo cigar.
Okay.
What actually pulls out that tobacco, pretty much makes your draw pretty easy.
Okay.
What if you cut it with a straight cut? What would be
Straight
the
cut, the only thing about it is depending on how you bite on your cigar. If you bite on a cigar, a lot of times it unravels a little bit around there.
Okay.
But for me, this cut, it actually pulls out tobacco, so it makes your draw a lot easier.
Gotcha.
Man, hit your boy with one of them V cuts, man.
And then this is called a deep V cut, very deep V cut. So it actually pulls it and actually gets right into the crevice of the cigar. Because most of the times when you look at a bad draw, you might have a pinpoint right here where it's hardened right here too much, or an evenness inside the filler, or you have a lot of times at the end of the cigar where you smoke it.
Gotcha.
Do you prepare a cigar in any way before you smoke it? Is there any rubbing? Is there anything that you do to it? You know what I mean?
I was always raised to do it from this standpoint. If you're gonna do it after, some people like to lick their cigar before
the whole thing.
No, some people lick their whole. Some people do.
Damn.
In my case, I don't.
Slobbing it down.
I would tell people like, hold up. Make sure you give me your cigar before you start looking at this coronavirus time, baby. It's COVID.
You didn't tongue kiss the whole cigar.
So when you light a cigar, and a lot of times.
Well, let me ask you this question. I know you're about to light it. I know I see people cutting it. Is that just because they're rookies and just cut it, or this was already?
No, that's the actual side you start from. That's the beginning of a.
True. But I've seen people cut this end before they light it.
They didn't know what the hell they were doing.
So you don't see?
No, you never.
I'm looking. I'm over here putting it on the table, cutting it, thinking I'm doing something.
You cutting the front?
No, you never.
Man, I'm learning. Why you shaming me?
Why you shaming me?
Cigars has come such a fad where I see people taking pictures and they're taking pictures from putting this part in their mouth.
Oh, really?
And, they didn't know that. That told me right there they didn't know anything about cigars. So just to give you an illustration of how you light a cigar.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You see where that red part of that flame is?
Yep.
You never hit that blue. You hit it from the top right here.
Okay.
Rotate it around until it gets cherry red.
And
Can they see that? Can you turn? Yeah, let them see that shit.
I'm assuming this helps with the even burn.
Even burn.
Okay.
That's what a lot of burns are always due to people mishandling their burn.
When I was doing mine with the I don't know, some type of matches they had at that lounge.
There you go. You actually make sure it's cherry red right there.
Me.
And you should have even burn. Now you put it in your mouth and then I'm gonna light it again because I want to get that center part from you and then pull it in and pull it from that drawer. Should I use that drawer?
Super easy. I've never had
that's
that
a
V cup
consistent,
before.
and that's the thing about it. A lot of cigars,
I've never had that V cup
a lot of cigars are rolled really bad. That's why you try to go with a company that actually had experienced rollers and has been around for a long time. Now, if you go too close, then you'll torch your tobacco.
Gotcha.
So the first few hits will pretty much be burnt tobacco.
Burnt tobacco.
So, like I said, you don't really have to touch the fire because the heat is massive.
Really
what I was gonna ask you before is because when we did it with the matches, I was constantly spinning and rotating. I noticed that you're not really spinning and rotating.
No, because the first thing I do, I just go ahead and put it in my mouth and actually just start pulling. So,
how I'm doing?
Oh,
doing good.
You know what?
Let me go ahead.
What's the difference? That's what I want to know. You had 3 that was sitting down here.
Oh,
that one's a lot darker.
This is what you call a dark Maduro. This is a
dark
Maduro.
like big boy shit.
Yeah,
is that big boy shit there?
This is a light full body, which actually some women smoke it. That is a Havana. That one actually has Colombian tobacco, Dominican, and Nicaraguan tobacco in it. This one right here is all Nicaraguan right here. So a lot of times people don't really get to experience Nicaraguan.
Nicaraguan?
No. I said Then you got me saying Nicaraguan.
It's Nicaraguan. You smoking nigga? So is mine the same as his?
Yeah, y'all got the
Damn, I ain't want to have the same.
Nah, believe it or not.
Smooth.
The funny thing about it is that I was never gonna put y'all on this one if you're not an experienced smoker.
Right.
Because
you didn't want to be in here flat.
For one, we on y'all podcast.
Right.
I'm not gonna embarrass y'all like that.
Right.
So people like, hold up, man. So on the seat ghosts.
So is it the fact that it's so concentrated, the tobacco content in it is so high concentrated, or what?
You gotta understand, this is a much stronger. It's not about the tobacco is great, but it's about the Lahara content in it.
What is that?
Lahara is actually what makes your your cigar a lot stronger or less.
Okay.
So a lot of times you have
La Hera.
Yeah.
But
And what is that?
Is that a leaf?
Yeah,
is
that's
that
what
No, it's just part of it's part of the nicotine. When you look at a cigar, what is your nicotine content?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And the more you actually put more La Hera you put in there, the more potent it is.
What does La Hera look like? I'm trying to understand. Like, what does this look like? Is this like a chemical, a leaf, or
it's a secret cigar ritual.
Oh, okay.
Now we getting deep into it.
You know,
Like, hey,
the
you
funny
got
thing
some
about
questions.
cigars,
Yeah,
what I like to do,
do,
and like I said, as we do this podcast today, we should go into the intro to it. Then, of course, I would hope to be back where we can actually go into the second stage of what is the importance of a cigar and how a cigar is put together. Because a lot of times, when we sit there and talk about cigars, people are looking at what our actions are versus learning what a true cigar does.
Right.
Because people are always, depending on where people see this podcast is, they're going to look at it and they're trying to determine, okay, what are we talking about?
Right.
But shoot, COVID.
Take a drink. That shit kills.
So I want y'all to
really.
really indulge into the cigar. I want y'all to really, you'll never hear me say the word smooth. People always say a cigar is smooth. How is a cigar smooth?
So that's not a thing.
That's not a thing. When I hear people say a
That's
cigar is smooth,
That's saying it no
It's
more.
okay. It's a novice thing, though.
Yeah.
But you in here, though. But you know what? That goes to the whole point of this
That's
entire
the
thing is
reason.
just knowledge, just getting the understanding. Because confidence to me is bigger than anything a person could have. It's bigger than knowledge, bigger than all that. So when you say smooth ain't a thing, the fact you've been saying smooth the whole time, and I think I may have said it once or twice.
I've heard people say smooth many a times.
But you just saved him from looking crazy in one of these
Exactly.
spots.
That's
So when I
right.
get around
Because
the circles-
when you get around real cigar circles,
Yeah.
now what you're going to experience in Houston, and I'm going to say this in the most respectful way possible, you're going to have people that are actually enjoys the cigars. You're going to have people that actually feel like we only can smoke within a certain group, and then you're going to have people that can easily collage themselves into any circle. Cigars actually bring a lot of, one of my biggest corporate deals came in smoking cigars in here. It was a $120 million deal with a major corporation. There was a contract between our company and their company by smoking cigars, drinking on whiskey, our bourbon, and really getting a chance to know each other. That's what cigars do. It brings a conversation to meet people. That's how we met.
Definitely.
I mean, that's how, you know, when it comes to Drew. Me and Drew met. He was at our, we had a gumbo cook-off.
Okay.
Got a chance to talk to him. I say, I'm going to get your product. You know, people always say, I'm going to get your product.
Right.
And you don't realize at that time, it might not be at that moment, but at the same time, if we link right, then we'll always be in connection with each other.
Absolutely.
So, of course, I'm using his shea butter right now.
Yeah.
His rub. I forgot what it's called.
That palm.
That palm.
Yeah.
I just started last night with my struggle beard.
But,
He had a struggle beard. So
I'm
we
trying
I
trying
see
to
that. I wasn't
Right.
gonna say nothing about that.
Don't worry about it.
I wasn't gonna say nothing about that.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You'll get there.
Holla at me in a month.
Yeah.
Drew?
Got him right.
So shout out to Drew.
Yep.
Yeah.
But at the same time, shout out to Tim, because Tim is actually, when we talk about Houston Cigar Week, he's one of my partners. Cigar Maven, which is a woman. She's she's been in the cigar industry a long time. She's well respected by the folks that are cigar enthusiasts. Now, one thing about our circle is that we all are like-minded in our business aspect,
Okay.
our business acumen. That's the biggest part. Anytime you're talking about cigars from a business aspect, a lot of times people tend to get into it. They just figure, oh, I'm just going to do this and I'm going to do that. No. If you're not visiting Nicaragua, Dominicans, or Colombia, wherever your tobacco, or Honduras, or Jamaica, wherever your tobacco is coming from, you should visit that factory so you can see exactly the process of them growing it, the process of them curing it, etc.
So how was that process when you were developing your own brand?
I got a chance to see all that. I went by a rather different factories, because if you're not going to go through a distributor, you have the choice to actually pick where you buy your tobacco from.
True.
So, and of course, I didn't go through a distributor.
I got a couple of questions real quick. I know you're about to say something real quick, but I know we hit on the bourbon and the whiskey as you drinking and smoking. What's the relationship? What's the...
Taste your bourbon after you smoke it. You smoked a few puffs.
Yeah.
Taste your bourbon.
I'm getting into it.
And what's the purpose of drinking bourbon with the cigar? Like, what's
Well,
the
for one,
marriage
prime
between the
example,
two?
It feel a little different. Like
Well,
the
think
Don't
about
say
it.
smooth.
flavor.
He can say smooth because he got that
He gonna
bourbon
throw
thing.
that whole word
look,
away.
Look, the biggest part of it
Think
is that
smooth is rough.
You know, it's
anytime you have a cigar, the first thing people ask what you pair it with.
Okay.
Because most times when people are smoking cigarettes,
Right.
yeah.
people don't only smoke cigarettes, but when they go out, they drink it on vodka most of the time, drink it on a happy hour drink. They're smoking a cigarette because actually it's a natural flow with it.
Right.
The same thing with a cigar, but a cigar is all natural.
Okay.
It doesn't have the SS chemicals in it, like particularly in this particular cigar. White pepper and cocoa in it. That's some of the additives that we put in, but it's not additive. It's just all natural. White pepper and cocoa. Now, cigarettes have so many chemicals in it, either in the filter part of it, or in the wrapper itself. That's the difference. People always say, "Well, it's the same thing." No, it's not the same. For one, you don't inhale a cigar,
Right.
because if you think marijuana is strong, tobacco is even stronger. Because actually, you'll start getting a lighthead or get dizzy, or get real buzz real fast. Because people that actually smoke a real strong cigar can get a buzz just from smoking it. People are like, "Well, I'm just blowing in and out." I say, keep blowing in and out,
Right.
and you'll see as you get through that cigar and you never smoke a cigar, you have a nice buzz.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that I noticed with it. And the first mistake that I made smoking a cigar, this years and years ago, was inhaling it.
I know
And then I got schooled to no. You just let the smoke whirl around and go right back out with
anytime
it.
they have a young lady that, for one, the biggest mistake I think a lot of men do is when a woman smokes a cigar and you have a woman around, they try to give her a sweet cigar.
Yeah.
No. Give her a cigar where she can actually taste the tobacco, but make it maybe a Connecticut or something that's a little bit more light. Now that Habana right there is a really medium to full body cigar.
Okay.
It actually has a good flow to it, but the leaf is so old on it, you're not going to get the harshness or you're not going to get the roughness whenever you actually pull that smoke.
Okay.
If you notice, as we smell the cigar in here, it doesn't smell like a harbor cigar, because some cigars smell
They
terrible.
stink. They stink.
And people always say that, and that's another thing, is that anytime you have a woman that don't smoke cigars, she kiss a man that does, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Because a good tasting cigar is not going to be it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be like when I smell somebody that smokes cigarettes, it smells horrible.
Terrible.
But a good cigar don't smell horrible. I know a girl that just, prime example, she don't smoke cigars ever, but she love to smell the cigar.
She loves to smell cigars.
She go to cigar lounge and sit there all day.
Just
I had
because
another question, but before I get to the other question, what I wanted to say to your point about the flavor and the smell of the cigar and having a good cigar is sometimes, maybe early on when I was first, young, going to Vegas, trying to have a cigar and, act like you're doing something.
Right.
Was that taste in my mouth the next day from what could have been a bad cigar, because I was just going there and just picking out whatever I
could
saw.
definitely taste the difference between this and another stick because it was like the other ones you can already taste the tarry type. You know what I mean? It's not.
And it just depends on what you put in your cigars. A lot of times people add different additives to get different flavor.
Okay.
Just like when somebody have a flavor cigar is a lot of sugars, which a lot of times takes away complete taste of the tobacco. That's why when most men talk to a woman or invite a woman to it, they just figure, I'm gonna give her something light. What I do, I tend to give a woman a medium or a light cigar so she can actually taste the tobacco and see what a real cigar is.
Right.
So I know we speaking tobacco and cigars, and I use the word smooth. So getting out of that,
Don't use that word with a
when I'm in
cigar.
different circles, what's the correct way to, or what are some words to describe a cigar when you like it or when you don't like it?
I have a nice medium cigar.
Okay.
Medium body. It's just, cigars is very similar to wine. If you ever notice people say a light body wine or medium or full body. Same thing with cigars.
So light, medium, full.
And it doesn't matter the price. That's the big problem that people figure. If I'm gonna spend $50 on a cigar, it gotta be excellent.
Yeah.
That's not true. I've had a cigar I paid $100 for, and it burned fast, and it also tastes terrible. It just probably was a bad batch, because every cigar you're gonna get, you're gonna have some that's not gonna be as good as the next.
Right.
Because that's why they hand roll. You'll have some that unravel because they're not perfect. It's not a machine cut cigar or put together cigar. They have some in there that actually are machine cut. So
You know what, man? I got so many questions.
I want to get back to that business.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to the business. I got a couple
get
questions.
back to
I want to
that
make sure people are educated when it comes to cigars, as in these different circles.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to fall down what they may have seen on TV. Now, what I mean by that, one of the things that I've seen before is when you're having a cigar and you got a nice, drink in front of you. Some people I've seen dip that in.
Oh, that's common.
That's common.
That's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing. Okay.
No.
So you can keep doing that if you already doing that.
If you do that, continue.
Hold on, what
I
do
do it
doing?
sometimes.
So
Like
they
they do
like
this.
dip.
Look, they do this right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, right like that.
So it can have that
flavor.
that flavor on it.
Yeah,
Huh.
I've seen that before.
I've never seen it.
And then my last question, before we get back into the business,
That's interesting.
because we're gonna get that. Right now, as you can see, I'm looking at the ash and it's still holding up. Does that really mean anything to a cigar enthusiast? On how long
we have contests that's called the long ash contest.
Yeah.
And
Where
that,
actually in a good cigar will hold that ash for a long time.
gotcha. Okay, so that.
So when do you need to ash your cigar?
Well, and that's people always ask me that when I'm around them, and what I tell people is that at least let it get a little bit of ash on there. For one, it keeps that burn real even. A lot of times, like mine just dropped because I
Okay.
touched it. But at the same time, it keeps the cigar cool
Okay.
as you pull from that draw. A lot of times people don't realize that because that ash keep it cooler than what it would normally be if I would just take off the ash.
Because the oxygen will just hit the flame right away instead of have to filter through. Okay. See that? It's like it's a bunch of practical shit, but you have to say it out loud for you to even know that it's practical.
Well, a lot of
See, he
people
did that shit up. See, y'all ain't peeped that. He did it real slick.
What'd he do?
So if you ever sitting in like,
What'd he do?
For the ash, like
you just tap
he
it. You just tap it. That's it.
Bottom or top.
Bottom
doesn't
and
matter.
down.
Oh, I didn't even know
That's
was
it.
See,
So
the
that's
glass
what
is
that's
so
for.
long.
One thing I tell people all the time when I see people have a cigar, they be like, "Oh, I'm about to go," and what they do, they smash it down. Never
Yeah.
smash down.
Don't
What you
smash.
do?
No, just
you
let it sit and
you
go
let
out,
it sit.
right?
Let it go out,
Yeah.
and then you cut off that part that's burnt.
Okay.
And get it back to the fresh cigar because
Gotcha.
you'll have a bad tasting cigar once you get it back.
Gotcha.
So
half of that,
anytime
like-
y'all see me out, y'all see me at Chapman Kirby or some of these other spots because I have some other spots I will be announcing very soon that Stixx and Stonez actually are participating in, are part of the promotion teams that we work with or that we're part of. Is that I always educate people about that. Like I'd rather somebody leave their cigar there and go off and do whatever they got to do and come back and I relight it for them.
Gotcha.
So,
You know what? So, because I mean, this is a bunch of good information.
Yeah.
I want to go back to a little bit more to business.
Absolutely.
Because the biggest thing is like, you know what I mean, for people that are watching and not understanding how to start certain things. Like we talk about the paperwork of the business. What was involved? Like Stixx and Stonez. What did you when you started? Did you get your domain? Did you get your LLC? Did you just start the process? Did you just?
that's the most important part. People,
That's
if
what
you're
we like to
start
talk.
a business,
When we talk.
please make sure that you get your LLC to protect yourself from anybody else using your name. Get your DBA. Put your DBA separate from your LLC. Because if you put the LLC underneath the DBA underneath the LLC, it's actually going to get returned. So put it under your regular name or put it on, because what it is, people don't realize a DBA is an assumed name. It's just like people that actually own McDonald's franchise.
Right.
Yeah.
They get the right to use that name,
That's it. But it's not theirs.
but it's not theirs.
Right.
What it is, they have the ability to use it because they have a DBA underneath that umbrella of McDonald's.
Right.
So they put it underneath that umbrella because they're franchisee. But it's really owned by H&H Business or TBC. John
Right.
owns that McDonald's.
Right.
But every time you go there, you just assume McDonald's own that.
Of course.
So the same thing with cigars. Make sure you get your business. Make sure you get the DBA, LLC, and get your trademark.
Yep.
To protect your brand. And most people don't know about trademarks. What you put on that trademark is the only thing protected with that.
Yep.
That means anybody else can go get something else that's very similar.
Yep.
That actually doesn't affect your trademark. And actually get that trademark. That's
Well-
another thing. A lot of people don't know about trademarks.
Yeah.
Well, see,
I don't talk a lot about the
Yeah,
trademarks.
because everything that if I'm messing with it, we trademarked it. Like even 1% better every day. Like
Yeah.
that's a trademark, but it's the logo trademark.
It's the low, and
right.
people don't understand that part. And the other part of it is get the federal
Of course.
name of it.
Yeah.
which is the EIN.
Yep.
Most people get all that other stuff and will forget to get the federal part of it because they figure I own the LLC. Well, technically, from a federal standpoint, federal supersedes state, just like state supersedes county.
Yep.
What we did was, I think, was that episode 6?
It was early on. I can't remember which
So
one.
we basically went through the whole thing, and it was like, talking about, listen, if you got on these shoes, it is this, it is that, you've already got an LLC and the ability to trademark something right now. Secretary of State, go right there, whatever state you're in, you jump on that, and then you also be able to at least first see if the name is already in operation and being used as far as a trademark.
Once, make sure we spell check before we actually put an LLC in the completion part of it.
Because whatever it is, it
is.
Yep.
Bro, I did
And
that
that means then you'll be forced to go buy the right spelling because somebody can come. It's just like with a domain.
Yes.
Make sure you get your domain. But the thing about it is, certain domains, some people buy certain domains that's similar to a major name. Just for the point. Because when people make a mistake, drop into their domain and end up finding something they like.
We what we did was we talked about this on a prior podcast. We were talking about just the business of buying domains.
Yes.
And I was talking about a guy who owned, it was diapers.com. He ended up selling to Amazon for I think $4 billion.
Yeah.
But when he first came out, he tried to get diapers.com and somebody already bought it and just was sitting on it and they wanted $600,000 for it.
So he bought it.
No, wait. Well, he eventually bought it, but originally he had to get like diapers 1,800 or some regular shit.
And see,
you know what I mean?
People
so he could build up the capital to get it.
People don't understand that because whenever you're looking for this, a variety of different ones are gonna pop up in the first place.
Right.
The more people search it, the more it pops up.
Yes.
Right.
So a lot of times when you spell something incorrectly, somebody got that domain just for the fact that
get that residual.
Get that residual or repeat visit to that particular domain, and then people start using that, and that becomes even popular itself.
Exactly. No, that literally just happened to me because I'm starting a new business with a candle line called Wicks and Vibes, and I told them this as well. When I was doing that, I went for, at least for the domain, like I own Wicks and Vibe without the S,
and with
the S, because little.
That's why,
just like
that's
you
why
saying,
you buy. People don't realize this. That's why you buy close like names with it. Even if you're not going to use the domain, just to protect your brand.
Just to protect your brand.
Protect your brand because
you don't want them to be redirected somewhere.
What I've learned in this cigar game is that it's very competitive, especially in the minority community.
Yes.
It's grown dramatically. Houston, Atlanta, Chicago, New York, some places in Florida like Miami, Tampa.
I imagine Miami's pretty.
Yeah. So you got to think about the competitiveness when it comes to building a brand and actually being the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize in the black community, we're not even 1% of that market. This is $1 billion company. I mean, $1 billion business. Mm-hmm. There's so much room for us to grow. There's no such thing as, it's just like y'all have y'all podcast. Mm-hmm. Y'all not competing against my show. What we need to look at is actually working together to build both shows.
Yes.
Build both line of businesses.
Yep. To bleed audiences.
That's something that the white folks that I know that tend to illustrate that to me. Both of my mentors are white. Well, one he died, but they were both, what they told me about business. Align yourself with like-minded people. Align yourself with people that are actually going to help you versus actually tear you down. Because support comes great when you tend to have a great business. It's just like Rick Ross. Everybody know Rick Ross was a security guard. Yeah. He did, probation officer, whichever one it was. But at the same time, once he built his brand, everybody started following. Right. Now think about who didn't follow him in where he's from in Miami, in Dade County. People was like, okay, that's Rick Ross. We see him every day. He ain't nothing. Now the same people that never helped or never assisted him in his growth are trying to get on the team. So I think when we look at our generation of black folks or African Americans, we need to do a better job of supporting people when they need support versus when they have actually made it.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I think an interesting thing is that, and the reason, excuse me, that it was about getting, being able to present certain knowledge, but from familiar faces in a familiar delivery, because business is dope. Like, you know what I mean? Like, business is a dope thing to talk about. I mean, I love talking about like, a sport is fine, but I like talking business. And when you think about what you're doing, you're talking about a huge market that is only being infiltrated by a small group of people, especially that look like us, and the room for people to jump in it. The opportunity is huge. You just got to open your mind to stuff outside of what you know.
When I first got, there are about 5 or 6 different black cigar brands in the city.
Okay.
You have Masculinos, Empress Cuts. Empress Cuts and I have an excellent relationship. I have a good relationship with JP, he owns Masculinos, and then you have Space Cigars. Okay. Then you have ANC that just recently came out. A gentleman named Bobby owns that. Okay. Then you have Blowing Smoke. Okay. Which another guy named Bobby owns that, and his partner owns that. So the thing about it is that we have to stop looking at each other as competition. Right. We have to look at each other as alliances. Of course. And actually realize these brands can all do well together if we actually help each other, build each other up.
Bro, that's such a good point. Like, I don't want nobody to miss that. But like, you have your own brand that you're trying to build and get into more stores and get across the country. But you will easily know these other brands that are in Houston that are black owned. You can spit off the name of the owner right quick. But it's not like you're competing with them. Like, it's like, let's be together.
That's my biggest point, and I made this clear to everybody. There's no such thing as competing with another brand. No. What you're doing, you're competing for people's business. Making sure that you put a quality product out there. Just like the rival, Ken Hamlin. You used to play an ex-NFL player today. We'll be working side by side today at the day party with Manny Fresh at Chapman Kirby today. I don't see myself competing with Ken, and Ken doesn't see himself competing with me. What it is that we should open ourselves up to work together to build a community of black cigar brands that don't look to just sell to black. Right. That's something I do not like to use because I'm not selling to black. I'm not selling to black people. I'm selling to everybody. Because last I checked, my dad get excited. Look, my dad taught me that. Look, money is green.
Listen, money is green. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you out. I had to sit up in the
I know you was about to.
Because we talk about this all the time. Number one priority is to create a dope product that can be consumed by anybody with a fucking heartbeat. Period. Like, and I love that because right now people are like trying to double down on black. And I get what you're saying because you're trying to promote stuff and help black people be aware. That's fine. But when you are creating something, you're trying to create a dope product for people to consume. Period. Being stuck in a mindset of this is for now. If you're selling to a market because that's a niche market that you say, oh, I know, that's different. Yeah. But it's a lot of people out here with universal products like this who cut their foot off because they like, oh, I only want this group of people to buy it. I just feel like that's foolish, and it's just dope to hear other people. Because when I say it, it's like, but why would you? It's like you're not understanding. If I'm selling this, I want to sell this to whoever the fuck wants to fucking drink.
And guess what? I actually want my competitors to buy it.
That's what
I want my competitors to buy it.
I'll drink to that.
Stillwood. Stillwood is not the only beer product that we can actually utilize.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's all about presentation. It's all about his personality trait and what he presents
and his story and
he's okay with if there's a competitor or look to be a competitor that actually sells the same product. Right. What he's going to do, he's going to separate himself based on pros and cons.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Dude, we talk about this stuff in corporate America.
I'm not trying to finesse you to buy it because, I'm like you.
I want you to buy the product because it's
a dope product.
Exactly. And you can utilize it for your self-interest.
That's all we said.
And I said that too in one of my things that I posted. Like, it's a dope product. It's a dope company that happens to be black.
That's it.
That's period.
I've never. And the sad thing about it, and I hate to say this.
No, say it because people.
White folks never say this is most white business.
This is a white company.
This is a white company.
That'd be crazy.
Because if they did, they'll be considered racist. So, and I don't understand why when we look at a product and we say, well, this is a just a black business.
It's
no,
foolish.
I'm selling to everyone.
This is my nigga right here.
And the thing about it is, I'm looking to sell boxes. I'm not looking to sell one cigar.
I'm trying to move product.
I'm trying to move the product to anybody that wants to buy it. Now, once you buy that product, I don't give a damn if you step on it. That's your choice.
Play kickball with it.
I don't care.
Who
But
cares?
I want you to buy it because, for one, it's a good product, and I want you to be back as a repeat customer. That's the biggest part.
This is an excellent product.
God
damn, it's an excellent product.
And no, I'm not gonna say it's smooth because that'll be foolish. But hey, it's definitely a full body cigar, in my opinion. From what I'm used to
you know
smoking.
What? Guess what? It's all cigars. It's such a creative environment because it's all based on your palate.
Yeah, and that's what I'm finna say.
People don't understand that. People don't understand that, and we need to do a better job if we're gonna do it. Educate ourselves to the fullest.
Yep.
Yeah,
Educate
absolutely.
ourselves to know what we're smoking.
Yep.
Make sure that you know there in the cigar, there's always a wrapper, a binder, and a filler, and know the difference. A lot of times people don't know the difference when they say. Well, that's why a lot of people say smooth because they don't really understand cigars. A lot of people get into the fad of smoking cigars. Black people have actually exploded when it comes to smoking cigars. Now they're even getting people in their early 20s smoking cigars and being comfortable with it because they see people that actually has a positive standard of life influence in front of them that says, hey, if they're doing it, I want to do it too.
Right. Because honestly, this says something. Like a cigar says something without saying something.
Bro, it does.
It's
like
just it's a look, and I talk about this, and I really don't give a fuck what people think. Like when it comes down to like just say police stuff, right?
Yeah.
I always talk to people, and they say, "Well, my experience has been like this with officers," and I'm like, "That's cool." And when I'm talking to them, I'm like, "Man, I travel all over the place." I'm not saying I couldn't have a bad experience with an officer because you could.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that presentation. The way something is being presented. When you look at somebody, just say, and we're talking about a cigar because the cigar is in my hand today.
Yes.
It's a look. It's a presentation. It's when you see somebody and I look at you, it's like, I don't have to know anything about you to look at your posture, look how you holding the cigar to be like, that may be a guy that I want to listen to. I don't know anything about him yet, but this may be a guy that I want to listen to. And before I forget, I want to go back to this because I think it was dope as hell about the competition thing. Because everybody sees competition, and it goes back to what I don't remember. Y'all saw Any Given Sunday way back in the gap. Now remember the little thing that Jamie said, the little speech where he said black kids are raised to be stars. And when you raised to be a star and you have a star complex, everything is seen as competition. Whereas you'll look at, just say for instance, when you went to the hood school, you had 3 stars on that team. You played a suburb team.
Well, what's the question? What's the real part of that? What makes a star? A star at some point in time has to be a role player.
No. But what he was saying was that you see teams and the one player start to get upset and feel like he's competing with the other teammates instead of working with them. You see what I'm saying? Because the complex. But when you said the deal about competition and why that's so cool is because when you look at restaurants, you'll see McDonald's, Burger King, you see them all right by each other.
They want to be like that.
Exactly.
Pepsi Coke is a prime example.
Yep.
What makes Coke better?
Yep.
Pepsi's always on their heels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pepsi to the point is actually getting to that point where they're in certain markets. They're outselling Coke easily.
Right. They got a big chunk of the market share.
It makes your product better when there's a line of competition.
Exactly. The Joker is nothing without Batman and vice versa. Like it's a beautiful like whenever I'm going through, just say a podunk town or whatever like that, they may not have shit in the town, but they got all their shit is
They got the very traditional values of
right
you're
by
gonna
each
see
other.
a McDonald's, you're gonna see a Subway, you're gonna see
and they are
and it's a travel prime example. Traveling from here, from Houston to Dallas. Every time you travel there, it don't matter what hit town you're going
to. On 45, you're gonna see certain things.
You're gonna have a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Wendy's or etc.
Yep.
Now, what you will see differently in some cities, you'll have a Buc-ee's.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And Buc-ee's actually knows. People always ask, why we don't have Buc-ee's in the city?
Right.
Because Buc-ee's know their
They
philosophy
know
and formula. Their formula is to go where there's lack of competition because it's better for their model.
Right.
Yes.
Because if there's a Buc-ee's in town, then Buc-ee's would be just like any other convenience store gas station.
They're not selling that.
But when they're in these small towns on the outskirts, or like say in Baytown, or say going towards Cape,
because they're meant for the travel.
They're there because they want to get that full effects of a gas station, a grocery store, a shopping center, all in one.
Your whole family jump out.
Because they're trying to catch the travelers, and they promote that clean. And because I was listening to something with the founder, I forget his name, but I think his nickname is Bucky. That's why they call it Bucky's. But
he's from Texas.
He's from Lake Jackson.
He's from Lake Jackson.
Yeah.
The thing about him is that when he first came up with that concept, I love the concept. Just the fact that he thought about smaller surrounding suburban areas of small cities.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you another step he's taking. When you see the billboard, he buy the billboard that actually leads to Buc-ee's. So he's not paying no advertising dollars. All of it is in his marketing budget for that particular unit.
I think it was smart with him because he understood that, because the way he's positioned is always right on the outside. So it's like when you're traveling the interstate, and he understood that from a woman's perspective, having a clean restroom was huge. And that was the biggest thing they promoted.
Anybody's never been to Buc-ee's, when you're traveling to San Antonio or Dallas, like it's so important that, like you said, the first time I went to Buc-ee's, my wife and I, we were doing a little staycation. We wanted to go to San Antonio. Went to San Antonio. We stopped at Buc-ee's. First time she's been to Buc-ee's, and she's from Texas. She was like, "Oh my God, the bathrooms are amazing. They're clean. Like they tapped into a market, because you know you go to some of these gas stations when you're traveling. It's the Love gas station, and the bathroom is like super nasty and whatever. And that's not the environment that a lady or a woman feel most comfortable in.
And that's what made
they want to go to a clean restroom, a clean rest stop, and they tapped into that market and elevated that experience to where you have to stop.
It was genius.
You may not have to use the bathroom at this point, but you're gonna go,
bro. It was genius,
and you're gonna have a great experience.
It was genius.
And that's why he makes so much money. That's why his company makes so much money, because he understands his market. And that's a lot of times, even with cigars, you have to understand your market. I've actually talked to a few guys, and a few guys in the market said, I'm not in the business of selling boxes. I'm in the business of selling 3 to 4 sticks. Then why are you in the business? Because your main objective is to maximize your dollar.
Right.
And if you're not maximizing your dollar, then you're pretty much wasting your time.
That's another thing you want to say real quick. I wanted to touch on it when you said about just the vibe, and like when you are in this environment, it elevates. Like even today, like I think I called you when we were on the way here. Like I'm usually wearing the Apple Watch.
Right.
Just because it's easy, it's convenient.
You threw on something else.
I threw on the bright light today. I'm like, you know, you just feel a certain way when you're in an environment. Rather it's a nice dinner and you're drinking wine, or you in a cigar with a nice, drink.
You're recognizing your surroundings. You're recognizing your surroundings.
100%.
It's a new surrounding for you. So what people tend to do is actually change or adjust.
Right.
A lot of people have a problem adjusting or changing to their environment.
A lot of people have a problem with that.
And that's the biggest part of it when it comes to smoking cigars, is that you're going to smoke with folks that's not going to talk about who's the best athlete.
Because nobody gives a fuck about that.
That's not who's the best comedian or whatever else. They're going to talk about business. You're going to learn. And a lot of times when I was younger, I would just sit down and just listen to these guys talk. And learn as much as I can, because they're older. They experience a lot of different things that we just didn't experience.
Man, it's crazy. And I like what we're doing here on this podcast and having guests like you on, because I feel like we're educating our viewership, educating everyone that's watching on something that they may have been a little bit shy of. Same way, like, let's say you go into a nice dinner, elevated, nice restaurant, 5 stars, maybe even a Michelin restaurant. It's so easy for someone that is not in that circle, in that community, or been to a space like that, to where they're reading the menu, they don't understand half the words. So they're like, I'm just gonna order something simply because I understand. That's what I know. Give me the chicken, give me the salad.
The phrase, they feel inferior.
Yep,
absolutely.
They feel inferior. I was never forget. Was in Chicago. I was at Lars Avenue, and on the menu, they didn't really have prices. They didn't understand. They thought the prices were outside of that item. So it just would say 22. So when the waiter or waitress came, I heard somebody say, well, I want 22. No, that was basically telling you that's the price.
Right, it's $22.
It's $22.
It just didn't have the formal dollar sign and all
traditional.
that. Yes.
Yeah. And see, same thing with cigars is that people need to realize, and I tell all of you out there that's going to watch this, just because a cigar is expensive doesn't mean that it's great. Just because it's cheap, it doesn't mean that it's all about your palate and what you're comfortable with. Until you get to that point of a palate of understanding what is a top dollar or top quality cigar, you're going to go through that. Yeah. We all have.
Yeah.
Even though my first cigar was an Opus X, my next cigar didn't cost, I didn't realize how Opus X cost $30.
Yeah. Right.
My next cigar was about $6-7.
Yeah.
So when I came out with Stixx and Stonez, this is something I want to do. I want to be above that $7 marking, but I want to also provide a cigar that was actually more valuable than what the price I put on it.
Yeah.
So from a Stixx and Stonez cigar, you'll pay anywhere from $10 to $15 for a cigar. So in most cases, I want to make sure that people understand it's a difference between a 10-year leaf, a 5-year leaf, or a 3-year leaf cigar.
Okay.
Major difference because it's all about the lack of harshness when it comes to tobacco and also the smell too.
And what age leaf are your cigars?
That's what I was just about to ask.
10 years.
All my cigars are. I actually paid a little bit more money for tobacco that was 10-year leaf.
So why is okay? Let me ask you this. So when you set them down here, you had the one that you had, and then we had the ones that we had. Those were even the one with the darker leaf was a 10-year leaf also.
Yes.
Okay, so why was that one darker?
Yeah,
what type of leaf?
Color?
What
that is
type
a
of
darker
leaf?
leaf. That's a darker leaf. It's a different type of leaf.
So these were different leaves that
Different leaf.
wrap. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Different type of leaf. Totally different type of leaf.
Okay,
Let me ask you this too, and this may just be a straight correlation. If it is a darker leaf, does that automatically mean it's a bolder?
No.
Could be. Okay.
No.
because that's what I
Some
wanted
people
to
get
know
scared.
too.
Some people, when they see, this is like when I'm out there selling, and I'm selling to somebody that never had a cigar, I was asking, which one you prefer?
Yeah.
Before I even tell them which one is medium, which one is full body.
Yeah.
Right.
They always say, well, that one looks like a full body because it's dark.
Right, and that's what you would think just off the
And
naked
no,
eye.
it's just the thing about it. When I put Stixx and Stonez together, I wanted to come out with some cigars that I didn't see a lot of different cigars of. You don't see a lot of Barber Pope, which is a Connecticut strip.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask you about
Which it
that.
has a strip of Connecticut on top of a battle wrapper. The thing about it is that so when I market my product, I look for lounges that actually don't have what I offer.
Nice.
Because
So
that
just
makes it
self-apart.
easier for my cigar to sell. Because if they all look the same, then people gonna go for what they see. They're gonna see all these different brands that's been out there for years.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, this is what we're talking about. You're in a market where you understand that you're not going to be able to win if you're trying to play the exact same game that more notable brands are playing. Because if I know the name of it, then I'm going to go with that one, even if you have a better cigar, because I just don't know the name.
They got a lot of times. A lot of your traditional brands doesn't change from start to finish. That's their model.
Yep.
A boutique brand is actually meant to change.
Right.
You want to differentiate yourself.
Right.
I couldn't get it out. Differentiate yourself from the traditional cigars, because if you're the same as them, then you're leaving yourself a small market to actually sell to.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get caught up in that.
I just wanted to stop you because we always talk about that. Like, if you're entering your entry level strategy has to be something that would make them say, hey, that's cool. Even if you didn't know anything about a cigar, just stopping and saying, oh, that's cool.
That's different.
That's
cool.
enough.
That's different.
That's a conversation starter.
Exactly.
Oh, what is that?
This is
Because it
part
asks
of
the
the
question.
marketing strategy.
I think
that
it's
I put
fucking
together.
genius, 'cause I
Is
would
that
ask
the
about
fact
it.
that I want to put something out there in certain markets.
Yeah.
Like, prime example, we walk into Stogie's humidor. The first thing you're gonna see, there's a ton of cigars.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a particular one, how you gonna find it if they all look the same?
Right, you're not.
It don't matter if they have a different brand.
Yeah.
It would take you a lot longer. But
Yeah.
if you say, you ask one of the consultants up front and say, well, I look for this cigar that actually has a barber pole or has a strip on it wrapped around it.
Yeah.
They're gonna be able to recognize that a lot faster
Right
than
there.
Quick.
if they all
Quick.
look the same. That's
Yep.
why different cigars have different designs. Different brands have different ways of marketing their product. A lot of traditional brands don't have to do much marketing because people know the brand.
Yeah.
My brand has only been out for a little while, so I have to be a lot stronger in my presence of marketing that brand to actually get it up to speed to some of my counterparts that actually have been in this business for anywhere from 30 to 100 years.
Wow.
See,
your brand started in what, 2016?
Yeah, I've actually, that's when I
See, that's dope.
I originally started working on it in late 2016. I used to have a partner, and I originally gave him that gift to go ahead and start it. And I saw it was going nowhere, so I was like, let me take it over and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then eventually he went on to do things that he wanted to do, and it was a little different from the philosophies that I had for Stixx and Stonez. So, but from that standpoint, I knew I had an agenda when I started Stixx and Stonez. I didn't just want it to be Stixx and Stonez.
Right.
I wanted the brand, because the brand to me is more important to build than anything else. It doesn't matter how good your cigar is.
And it's your reputation. Absolutely. You put your name behind this.
Man, I know some brands out there that actually are horrible.
Yeah.
But the brand is so strong.
It's just prime example. Starbucks.
Yeah.
Starbucks is a brand.
Yes.
It's not. Is it the best coffee? No, it's not the best coffee. But
Who
the
cares?
marketing setup for Starbucks make you want to be a repeat visitor. You hear the noises. You hear everything. Everything plays a factor in building that brand.
Real quick, I know we've been talking for about almost close to going on an hour right now, but please let everyone know where they can pick up your cigar.
Please.
Where can they buy it? Where can they purchase it?
In Houston, you can get it at McCoy's. You can get it at C-Dot on Main. You can get it at Top 10. You can get it at All in One now. It's a new lounge. Just open up on the north side. You can get it, of course, you can always get it at Stixx and Stonez, www.stixxandstonescigars.com.
On the site.
And you can get it in Atlanta. It's a rather different places. But the biggest part is that, look, going to the website gives people an illustration of what we have set up. If we have a good setup, they will have a good understanding of where to get that brand. And the first thing about the website is it's meant for them to contact me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That means it helps them, and also they can catch us on Instagram at Stixx and Stonez Cigar, Stixx and Stonez _cigars.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We see it's a nice setup. We got, they're coming around cleaning up after us. So we appreciate you.
Hey, and like, I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't want to cut you off. It's just you dropping so many fucking jewels, and I want people to pick it up because sometimes when you're watching stuff, it's just like sometimes stuff is moving so fast it's going over your head. Notice. He didn't just say, I got a website, I got this. He's like, this is meant to do this.
Yes.
Like, this is meant to contact. This is meant to do this. Like, when you're building a new brand, I think it's very important for people to understand.
To understand the pathway where you're trying to lead them to.
Right. Because the brand is the most important thing. Like you said with Starbucks, they made a conscious effort to build storefront properties that when the guy came from, I think when he was in Italy, when he went in the coffee shop or whatever like that, and he understood that the smells were important, the sounds were important, all that stuff. So I just think, like I said, man, building the brand is super dope. What you're doing is super dope. Setting yourself apart is super dope. And man,
look, and what I want to, getting off of Stixx and Stonez, what I really want to talk about is Houston Cigar Week.
Oh yeah, please.
I am, like I said, Houston Cigar Week we actually started working on this about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
I brought Kim Latrice in, which is Cigar Maven, and Duchess of the Leaf is a nonprofit women's group of cigar smokers that actually are all part of Stixx and Stonez. And I brought in Tim Bresco to actually, he does cigars and whiskey.
Okay.
So what I did when we built a partnership between us, I wanted to get people who were like-minded that do their own business, that are very successful at doing their own business. So when we utilize all our partnerships together, we can actually put a great event on. And what we have coming up in May is a golf tournament at Wildcat.
Okay.
We have all your major liquor brands that are part of it as sponsors. Every event is going to have a liquor sponsor. It's liquor sponsored. Every event that we have.
Right.
Nice.
50-15 from Chapman Kirby from Sporting Club, Vibe Central.
Do you have, because I know the owners of Highway Vodka.
Highway Vodka, I've been meaning to reach out to them.
I can connect you with them.
Yeah, please do.
Absolutely.
I actually want to get them involved. We got 1186 Water is owned by a gentleman named Mr. Marquise out of Alabama.
Okay.
They're the official water sponsor of Houston Cigar Week.
Okay.
May 12th through the 16th. For those that don't understand what we're putting together for y'all guys, we put a real robust lineup together for people to enjoy from Wednesday to Sunday.
Oh wow!
And we have some things.
Nice couple days.
We got some things coming up in 22. I'm not going to talk about it on the podcast today, but at a later time we'll announce it probably after July.
Okay.
So, for anybody that's out there, go to HoustonCigarWeek.com, www.HoustonCigarWeek.com, or you can always go to HoustonCigar_ at week on Instagram, or you can try Houston Cigar Week on Facebook. We're in rather different platforms. We have over 15 different social media pages. Mm-hmm. So we reach out, and then we have a radio show. We talk about it on Stixx and Stonez. And one thing that people don't understand about me, these are totally two different companies. Stixx and Stonez is nowhere linked to Houston Cigar Week. Most people that know that I advertise Houston Cigar Week, I have not advertised Stixx and Stonez with it. The reason being is that neither one have nothing to do with the other. Mm-hmm. If you're going to have multiple companies, please separate them and use them both at the same time. Even if they're in the same marketplace, use them at the right time.
Right.
For that standpoint.
Absolutely.
That's cool because with the different things that I have, like whether it's a product that I've invented and gotten a patent for, whatever, it's all about being able to play with those chess pieces. Yeah. Sometimes they work in conjunction with each other. Sometimes
they don't.
You use them completely
and
independent of one another.
And you can actually go on one, trying to combine it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Talk about that.
If one goes through a negative period,
right,
and you link them, then both
it
of them
bleeds off into the other. Absolutely.
So when I look at a lot of folks and a lot of people, education for people that's doing business, and this is not my words, it's people that actually taught me, is that if you have multiple businesses, know when to use them together and know when to separate them.
Yep.
But never always promote one to promote the other.
It's a mistake.
Because it's a total mistake.
Yep.
But with Houston Cigar Week being cigars, every now and then on Stixx and Stonez Cigars, I will promote Houston Cigar Week because Stixx and Stonez is going to be part of it. Mm-hmm. We are going to invest in it from a Stixx and Stonez standpoint.
Yes.
I just haven't announced that. We're going to utilize it for the golf tournament. We're going to utilize it for the event at Chapman and Kirby because we already have them in alignment. The alignment is already in place with Chapman and Kirby.
Yeah.
So when I look at the golf tournament, I want to get that brand awareness out for Stixx and Stonez. So when you got to think about it, we're going to have anywhere from 80 to 120 players playing golf. Most people that play golf are business-minded people.
Yeah.
So that means when you see that and the sponsorships that we have in place, you're going to recognize these things. You're going to get a chance to talk to these people. When in my case, they'll see Stixx and Stonez out there on the whole, but they'll see me the whole time, so they can always ask me.
Yeah.
So that's the point. Putting your brand in place to actually to be a focal point or a sub focal point of a bigger stage or a different type of stage.
Right. Big dog.
That dropped so many gems and jewels for this
But
one.
you know what? I've looked, and I can't take credit.
We got to come back. We got to do more.
We got to because
we got to.
As we get closer to Houston Cigar Week,
got to.
I want to actually illustrate to people. Get your tickets. I would tell you get your tickets down. The early bird tickets are there.
I'm getting mine.
They're actually getting slimmer.
I'm getting mine.
And just what we're offering, it would be amazing. People would be amazed by what we're offering for $125
for all those days.
For all those days,
it gives you access. It gives you access.
Hold up. They get a grab bag that actually has cigars in it, other gimmies and stuff like that in it.
Get your tickets now.
I'm just saying it's worth doing this event, and like I said, this event leads to other events, and this is going to be an annual event that we do. So we have great sponsorship. We got Davidoff. We got Kendrick Hospital. We have the Jim Beam product brand. Liquor brand. We also have the Bacardi brand. We have so many different areas of sponsorship.
Yes.
We're working on bringing in Maserati. We're working on bringing BMW in.
Man, you talking so big talk. Don't let none of this go over your head. You looking at a local brand that you started a few years ago. You've been a connoisseur of cigars for a long time, but you not thinking local. You thinking I'm going to be the biggest brand out there.
If you're not thinking that way, then why are you in the business?
My guy.
Why are you in the business if you're not thinking beyond that local standpoint? Anytime I start any brand, I never want to think local because it just does. For one, it doesn't fit a local agenda.
No,
because you're looking at to make this brand grow. You only got a certain area of concentration here.
Yeah.
Cigars is only a small percentage.
Right.
So to expand your knowledge on what you're trying to do, you have to expand it out to people outside of that area.
Everywhere.
So, because I want people, we got people coming from New York, we got people from California coming, Georgia, Florida, all over coming. And what we want them to do, the biggest part I want people to do is that when they come to Houston, they know what Houston has to offer.
Yes.
Like places like Stogies,
Yes.
like places like Casa, Davidoff. I mean, a lot of minorities know about Sweet Lips. Sweet Lips is a nice boutique cigar lounge. Shout out to Moses. Stogies is a nice lounge out there in Sugarland. Back room. Top 10. Top 10 is the way Top 10 run their business is that they don't look at color. The thing about it, some black minority-owned cigar lounges look at color, and they don't realize they're not allowing themselves to actually maximize their opportunity to sell more cigars.
I don't. Real quick before we get out of here,
It's too many Jews.
It's Jews. This is just me personally. I hate the word minority. I hate it.
I do too.
I fucking hate it. And the reason is because like I grew up on words after all that type of stuff because my mom's a motivational speaker. Okay. So when I grew up, it was all about the words. And so I feel like when you get people that start thinking like, oh, we're minorities. The root word of minority is minor, small. So I feel like that keeps people's thinking small.
And
if they already feel like
they
that.
only get, it's so crazy because if we really thought about staying in that rim,
right?
Most minorities would be filthy rich.
That's what I'm saying.
But because when they go buy Gucci, when they go buy Louis Vuitton, when they go buy Chanel, when they go buy Air Jordans, as much as Michael Jordan owning it, Michael Jordan is still working for Nike.
Right, it's a subsidiary of Nike.
Now, when you talk about the Charlotte Bobcats,
right,
he owns that. That's his.
Hey,
I guarantee you didn't know this though.
We need a part two.
Hold on. Did you see it? Did you see it the other night? I was watching the game, and I stopped and I filmed it with my phone. It was genius. The Bucks had Jordan or Jumpman sponsored jerseys. And I said, let's stop the press right quick. We talking about a man that's a majority owner of an NBA franchise, but also has his subsidiary brand on a whole nother team.
Most people don't know that Kobe was about to, before he died.
About to what? With Mamba?
No, Mamba was actually about to be his own brand. He was leaving Nike completely.
That would have been...
Actually, I read that the other day.
Was he going to be able to take Mamba with him?
That's his brand.
See, that's what's so...
He owned his brand.
So outside of Jumpman, how when they created the Jumpman campaign and it stays with
Jordan, and that's the thing about Jordan. Jordan actually owns Jumpman. And what I like about what he's doing, he got to the point where, he made a ton of money with Nike. And yes, Nike still does manufacture his shoe.
Right.
But that is his brand.
Right. Yes.
So if he chooses to take it to Reebok,
right,
which is possibly being bought by Master P and Byron Davis.
We saw that. That's going to be a big deal if they get that done.
What would that do for...
Complete culture shift.
Yeah, because you got to think about it.
Complete.
Hey, it's like when Ye went over to Adidas.
What Kanye West the same thing.
No, I'm just saying when he went from the producing the Yeezys with Nike and went to Adidas.
Well, now he took it from Adidas now.
Well, no, I'm just saying what it did for Adidas. Just with just like that.
And people think tennis shoes.
We are powerful, man. Understand this.
Super
people
powerful.
think tennis shoes and think sports.
Yeah.
They don't utilize that tennis shoes can be fashionable.
This is culture.
This
is culture.
Look, as being a black man, one thing I've learned, I've always wore Jordans. I wore both. One person I would hate that his career got changed was Bo Jackson, because Bo Jackson at one time was bigger than Jordan.
Yeah, he did have
he was bigger.
The juice.
The Bo knows campaign.
That logo, his shoes,
listen,
was bigger than Jordan's at one time.
They did such a great job of being able to put the two together, but they learned off cutting their teeth off the Jordan campaigns. But when they were able to do, and the reason why Bo was going to go so far is because Bo was not just one thing.
He was
He wasn't.
Bo was
You couldn't
multiple
put him in one
things.
box.
So it was just like, God damn, Bo. And then when they did the commercials, Bo knows they had my man playing hockey, playing
yeah,
I
tennis.
mean, and that's my point.
Genius.
Nike. One thing about Nike that I gotta give Nike.
Right.
Nike knows how to spend. Just like the same thing with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Right now, Colin hasn't played football in a long time.
Nope.
But he's selling his stuff.
Yes.
He's selling
Right.
with Nike.
Right.
Nike understand. Get into the moment and take advantage of
Yep.
that opportunity.
And to your point, I've heard and I read where he was doing a podcast, LeBron James. He is kicking off his own line in conjunction with Nike. The similar to what Jordan did with his brand and Jumpman. That LeBron's going to start having his own shoe and his own.
It only makes sense to follow that blueprint.
NBA players are going to be wearing
And
the
Jordan's,
LeBron
and
version.
I guarantee LeBron at some point in time will be one of the next black owners of the.
That would only make sense. He's
has to.
following the blueprint.
But
I think Jordan's
believe it
putting
or
out a
not,
nice blueprint.
He's actually going to surpass Jordan easily.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because
Tiger Woods was on that way. Tiger Woods was before Jordan was a
We
billionaire.
powerful, bro.
Right.
We so powerful.
it's stupid.
Tiger Woods was going to be the first billionaire that was black.
Yeah.
Well, he broke a Billy.
Yeah,
He broke a Billy.
But she broke his window.
Exactly. And then
I'm just saying. She broke his window.
Right.
You know,
he broke a Billy. She broke his window.
just like this
That's real
podcast.
talk.
I'm gonna tell y'all
That's real talk.
before we end this podcast.
Yes.
One thing I like about this podcast is that we're not talking about bullshit. We're not talking about gossip. We're talking about
You already know what the vibe
business-minded features
Yes.
and opportunities to learn.
Period.
And if people
Yes.
listen to this, and there'll be some people that be like, well, I don't fuck with Eli. That's fine. But if
It
you
ain't
don't mess
for
with
you.
me, if you don't mess with me, just listen to the message.
Yeah.
Pretend I'm not here.
Yeah.
Utilize what you learned today. Utilize what these guys have to offer. They have a great show. And at the same time, we're not talking about skanks. We're not talking about hoes. We're not talking about silly shit.
Yeah.
We're talking about business, structure, and functionality.
Yeah. Stuff that
And if
moves the
people
needle.
understand that if you want to make money, pay attention. Because most podcasts I see, and I look at a lot of podcasts, they keep ratings or they keep doing their podcast to bill it based on gossip.
Right.
This is actually based on business acumen.
I couldn't say
And
it better myself.
I
That's
mean,
it.
and if you're not doing it for that reason, then why the hell are you doing a podcast?
Period.
Exactly.
Period.
And negative news is, I always tell people, negative news is somewhat good.
Right.
Because people are talking about you.
Of course.
But at the same time, don't put out so much negative vibes. Put positive vibes and make it stick.
Yeah.
They had a young lady from U of H the other day. She was 16 years old, graduated. I don't
From
see
U of
nobody.
H
I don't
at
see,
16.
I don't see nobody talking about that. And she was a minority. She was a minority. Like I said, I think she was black. But at the same time, she's 16 years old.
It's incredible.
It's crazy. We'll put this on Instagram. Somebody post that, they get about 10 likes.
Yeah.
But if we put a girl bouncing her ass or
Yeah.
doing
Get a
some
million.
dumb shit,
Doing
they're
a
gonna
busted
get
challenge or
thousands of
something.
likes.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about us. We don't know how to congratulate each other when we do well.
Absolutely.
But that, to your point, that's why I feel like it was so important to have this. When we came, I wanted to partner up. I knew Melly. I knew that I was gonna have to partner with Melvin. I came and did his podcast originally, and I was like, man, 1% like this, because people were like, Shondo, you gotta do a podcast, and I'm like, so immediately it went to what's the proper team to put in place, and getting him on board was one of the smartest things to do, just because when you having this type of conversation, have to be like-minded people that understand what point are we trying to get across. I don't give a fuck about the latest shit on who just got took for a ride in a divorce, and I don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about infrastructure, I give a fuck about motivating people, and I give a fuck about sharing stories to where you see this man didn't have $300,000 of seed capital like fucking Jeff Bezos. And we love Amazon, but you understand, $300,000 of seed capital to get something started, hey, you can do a lot with that. But if you didn't have that, I love hearing that story.
Yes.
I love hearing that fucking story.
The funny thing about it is, I look at everything I've grown with Stixx and Stonez. It's gotten to the point where I've been in oil and gas for 18 years.
Yeah.
You know what people ask me about?
What?
Cigars.
Of course.
They say, so when I tell people I've been in oil and gas so long, they be like, I didn't think you did anything else.
Yeah.
Because that's the pinpoint.
Yeah.
If you're gonna build a brand, make it about that brand.
Right.
People, like I said again, people in the oil and gas industry, they know me for oil and gas.
Right.
Yeah.
But they also are learning that, hey, I'm very knowledgeable about cigars, and at the same time, you can make another marketplace for yourself
Absolutely.
outside of them.
Absolutely.
You got to expand your portfolio.
Yep.
And most people in business that are small-minded don't understand. They are trying to appease a small group.
Yep.
You maxed out your
You gonna
opportunity
stay
to
small.
make money.
Yeah, you gonna stay small.
You gonna
Thank
stay
you.
small.
And
So,
I applaud just that comment because I talk a lot about having multiple streams and different things. Just because you're doing cigars now doesn't mean you don't care or you don't draw your attention towards the oil and gas industry. Like, I'm in commercial insurance and I do that 9 to 5.
I just recognize that. Look, the cigar industry don't have enough minorities that doesn't work for another brand that's white.
Yeah.
Right.
They got. I mean, Mr. Sean Williams. Shout out to you, Kahiba. You know, he's a VP and much love to you for what you do. But think about it.
It's not
At
his,
some point
though.
in time, if you want to take off
Yeah.
and want to build your own brand, you can't be afraid.
Can't be
Because
afraid.
people always ask me,
gotta
were
be
you
fearless.
worried about when you first started with people like your brand?
Yeah.
One thing I learned about this is just like reality shows. Reality shows live off of people doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes they live off of people doing great things.
Yep.
But the thing about it is that people
a
take
fact.
that challenge to take that on and to build their brand.
Mm-hmm.
They know it gives you the spotlight of being in front
To
of the
put
camera.
you on, absolutely. And
If you're not, and that's the thing about it. I went to school for communication, so I'm never shy when it comes to anybody's camera.
Right.
Or doing being a motivational speaker. I've done. I spoke in front of a whole graduating class. So, if you get shy, this is not for you. But if you're not shy and you have that ability to take your own money and take that gamble, because everything doesn't work. I had an apparel line. I ended up selling that apparel line off to some white guys, still get royalty money from it. But at the same time,
big business talk.
I'm just
Big
saying,
business talk.
Big business.
the thing about it is that, and you don't have to wear Gucci and Louis Vuitton to say that you live good.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Build your brand and stop building other people's brands.
That's
If
it.
you
Absolutely.
building other people's brands that don't invest in you, that's the
Right,
biggest
yes,
thing. If
right.
they don't invest in you, like this podcast,
Yeah.
they took their time out to come out here and have a conversation with me today. You know what I'm about to do. Just like O'Shea, I was telling them last night about O'Shea. It's a series that's coming out. Some
Okay.
brother that actually produced the whole thing.
Okay.
It's been picked up by Netflix.
That's live.
And some other.
Dope.
So I want to make
Super
sure
dope.
that we try to get him to the show. He's been on my radio show when he first started.
Gotta
Say no
connect
more.
us.
Say less.
And
Gotta
people
connect
that
us.
got him on my show is actually people I know that actually were small-time actress. She was a small-time actress on the show.
Yeah.
And now he has the opportunity to make millions of dollars.
That's awesome.
This you would never think that.
Yeah.
He turned down even more money because he didn't want to sell out his people that
Right.
work with him
Yeah.
to get it together because
Right.
they wanted to chase everything.
Right.
But they wanted the script of what the show is a great plot.
Yep. Yep.
And he said no. Because at the same time, it's just like with some of these opportunities, you know, when a big company see that you have something great,
Yeah.
they be like, I'm going to try to buy that.
Poach
Yeah,
that
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
No, if I can't get anything from it going
Yeah.
forward, then
Yeah.
why am I selling it to
There's
you?
no need
Exactly.
for it.
You have some interest in it because it's of value.
Of course.
Yes.
That means
Otherwise, you wouldn't be saying shit about
if
it.
you throw me
Exactly.
$2 million,
Yeah.
it's worth
It's worth 20.
Way
Yeah.
way more than 20.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're not going to
Yeah.
invest that time into something
Right.
that you have.
Right.
Man,
And that's what I'm trying to do with Stixx and Stonez.
That's a fact, man.
Build this brand, get it to the point where some of these major big brands want to possibly put it underneath their lineup, and me continue to be with them.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
mind that part,
Yeah.
because when I do that, then I'm just going to turn my avenues to something else.
Right.
That I'm actually in my family. We have a lot of entrepreneurs.
Gotcha.
My sister and my brother-in-law have been on a business commercial janitorial service for 30-some years. I saw where it started and where they at,
Where it is.
and I'm proud.
Right.
My
Nice.
brother, he had a rim company. He has a barbecue company. So in my case, I have Stixx and Stonez. I have an apparel company. And the thing about it was, you have to get out your market to grow it. I hate to say that.
No.
Yeah,
Because
Say that.
Say it.
because
Say
you have to
it.
get out your market because everybody knows you in your market and they see what you were doing
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
and they don't value it. People that don't know you will value you and build it back where the people in your market has to support it.
Right.
And I told that to a gentleman before and he got upset. He's like, because I say, when it grows, you're gonna remember and you're gonna jump on board.
Yeah.
I ain't no dick rider.
Yeah.
No, it's not about being a dick rider. It's about being supportive towards your own
Absolutely.
and people that you know personally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't wait till somebody's successful to jump on board.
Yeah.
Because people like smart people remember
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that type of personality.
Man, that's a great segue because I know we're about to close it out, but
Yeah.
I always want to, as you know, going forward, I always want to highlight
Plug.
a local business.
Plug.
And
Plug. Put my glasses
here
on.
on Mel's
Shining
Corner.
bright.
On Mel's Corner, I want to highlight this company. It is called Commas and Cents.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to their IG. It's commas dot and spell out the word dot cents. I got this shirt. Future Mogul. They put a lot of emphasis on positive affirmation on the material that you wear. So I'm walking around with something that says a future mogul because I'm going to grow a multi-million-dollar business as well. It's going to be one of the biggest things.
Talk that.
It is a black-owned business, but it's
Talk
a dope
that.
business
Right.
that happens to be black-owned. So shout out to Commas and Cents. Go to all the show notes at the bottom of this show. You'll be able to see everything from Rich and Stixx and Stonez. Please sign up and get your tickets for the Cigar Week because that's going to be super dope when it comes out in May, in a couple of months. But, you know, go check them out. Check out the IG. Tell them 1% Better Everyday Podcast sent you.
Yes, sir.
We get nothing for that, but it's just I want to continue to put positive things out there for people that are doing positive things. So go check them out. If you like this, they have hoodies. They have all kind of stuff. But please go check them out. But man, Rich, man, I appreciate the game that you
appreciate
dropped.
y'all.
That's love, man.
It's so much game.
That's
And
love.
You know,
So
like
much.
I said,
That's
shout
love.
out to us doing this early.
Yeah.
Stogies is quiet today. And like I said, much love to Jorge and Jordan, the owners of Stogies. They
Shout out to them.
They
Yeah,
really
straight
had
up.
a really nice
a dope
establishment. I
facility.
really appreciate being a member here.
Yeah.
Never take advantage of that. And if you're in this area in the Galleria, please visit Stogie Houston, 6100 Suite 102, right next to the Palm. Check it out. They have a variety of different cigars. It's one of the best cigar lounges here in Houston. And be prepared during Houston Cigar Week. You will see some of the other ones
Yes.
that we have to offer. And we will have a to-do list of things to do while you're here to go visit other cigar lounges in the city also.
Dope.
People.
Dope.
Hey, we gonna bring this thing to a close. We gotta land the plane. You dig? You could have been anywhere in the world, but you here with us, and we appreciate that. Like my man Jay always says. This is the 1% Better Everyday Podcast.
1%.
Come on, man. It's your boy Shondo Blades along with my man.
Melly Mel.
And tell him your guest, man, that came because
Absolutely.
he's that
Rich.
guy.
He's the guy.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Rich
at
Love,
this point-
baby. Smokey
Yeah.
Eli.
Yeah,
Eli.
yeah.
Been this 1906. Sticks and Stones. That's what people. They be like, Sticks and Stones, what's up? Sticks and Stones always. But
Hey.
guess what? After May 12th to the 16th, you'll be calling me Houston Cigar Week.
Let's go.
Until the next event.
Let's go.
Peace out to y'all.
Absolutely.
Hey, we'll holler at you, baby.
Gone.